is the Starting Why podcast. Here we ask entrepreneurs, actors, investors, innovative, and artists on the why they are doing what they are doing, what motivates and drives them, and why can't they stop. We will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm part of Starting Why. And we have Joe with us. Hello, Joe.
Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
Good. It always makes me happy when I see you.
Same here. Our audience won't see that because it's an audio-only podcast, but we have video turned on during the recording so that we really get a conversation going.
I can't believe it's the winter already. How is it going for you? How's the year's been, and what are you looking forward for next year?
The year was pretty rough. I had a lot of trouble from my back to catching corona to having much longer sales cycles than I already expected.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe it will end on, as you say, on a high note with pretty good news, hopefully. Still working on it. But good news, also, I became a father again this year. Very happy news.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We welcomed little Ben in July this year.
Wow.
So there are now 2 little ones. Yeah, one of them running around in the apartment, the other one running soon, I assume.
They're going to be friends, I'm sure.
Yes. And we actually had to postpone this recording because I had to travel for a sponsor. Mm-hmm. And then I actually caught corona there, which took me out of business for something like 2 weeks. And now I'm finally back again without coughing. And I can really start working again.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
How was your year?
It's been really good. I mean, it was a hard year for me because I have a death in the family for the first time ever. And I just kind of realized how painful it is for humans to lose, one of their parents. So that was, sometime at the beginning of, of the year. And then, and also supporting the other parent, through the loss, because it was just such a shock. A little bit traumatized by it, actually. But I'm glad that it kind of occurred at home and not at the hospital, because if it were at the hospital, I don't think I would have seen her. So I'm super grateful for that. I've also moved this year, so it's big changes. Just seeing how my mom had passed away, I just kind of realized that life is really short. And I decided to do more scary adventure stuff, and also another thing that I did that I was really, really grateful for is that I've always wanted to visit Lisbon. And, since a couple years ago, and I finally traveled to Lisbon, which has been a lot of fun. Just exploring the country, meeting with people, and checking out Web3 in the area.
Really sorry for you loss. Didn't realize you lost someone. We haven't been in that close contact throughout the year, but fortunately we're picking that up now again.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think having digital twins would be pretty helpful in the future. If we can preserve memories of our loved ones, that would be awesome. And then I'm just being really thinking about life, right? How our parents born us, and then, because of that cycle of life, we see birth and then we see their death as well. So it just kind of regenerate in that way. So it's been super interesting. It's been a learning experience, pretty profound. Of course, there's new birth, new humans. And then then there's people, and then there's bodies that basically are gone, but they're still alive in memory. So, it's just something that I've learned, and of course, having more empathy and compassion to the people who've gone through the same.
I see. Actually, this episode will go live shortly before Christmas, so Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everybody.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Really, I
Yeah.
love Christmas. What are some of your favorite food for Christmas? I've actually been to Berlin a couple of times during Christmas, and I remember going to different places and seeing. I think I had a picture with Santa Claus in Berlin actually, and I know that I think Christmas is celebrated, with decorations and everything. What is your favorite
Mhm.
food during Christmas season?
In Germany, we call it Plätzchen. Basically, it's Christmas cookies, the homemade ones. And there are like zillions of different versions of this. I'm now alive eating solid food for more than 40 years and I haven't tasted all of them yet.
Wow.
And especially the time when when you bake them at home, when your
Mhm.
whole apartment smells like Christmas. Plus, of course, not really food, but also very important in Germany is Glühwein, the mild wine, where you put in some cinnamon, some cloves, and some sugar and heat it up, and then it's a really warming drink. It's also if you have ever been to a German Christmas market, Michelle, that's the primary smell there, right? This mild wine, this
Yeah.
Glühwein, yeah, smells like Christmas. Yeah, really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I love like the pumpkin pie. I know that's Thanksgiving, but in the US, Thanksgiving is also coming up. I love the pumpkin pies and the drinks at Starbucks. Also for Christmas, all the presents. And it's a little bit uplifting, the vibes, are like just a little bit, bright and red and green. So, people seem to be happy and, there is a season of giving and I think like I just love like, even having cappuccino and like a croissant during Christmas is pretty nice.
I also love pumpkin spice.
Oh
It's
yes.
yeah, it's actually like the unofficial start of fall when you get your first pumpkin spice latte, right?
I just had that about a month ago, so I'm not complaining.
Actually, I also took the Thanksgiving tradition from the US. That's what I brought with me after college, and not the Thanksgiving Thursday, but the Friday after. We are going to have a big turkey dinner here in Germany. Me and my family. I'm preparing the turkey. I'm the head chef here.
Nice.
Yes, that'll be awesome. We are very close to the end of this year and have done a little bit of review. What are you actually looking for in the next year, and how do you actually prepare for what you want to achieve in the next year? Because when I'm looking here on my wall, I already did a lot of planning on my paper-based calendar here in my office.
Yeah, I've had a few things that I've planned, so, I'm building metaverses, so I'm focused on education. So I think next year I wanted to start, like just having, just getting communities together, teaching, different things in a metaverse, having, just like kind of just enjoying and having fun. Another thing that I've achieved this year is, I think it's 2022, is just really continue to create art. So as an NFT artist, I have made, or continue to make and be exhibited in different places. So some of my art were exhibited in Lisbon during the Wear Effect Festival. It's really grateful for that. Some of them are, exhibited by Searchlight, for example, at the Web3 conference at the San Diego Library. And then there's another one that is coming out. It's called True Identity, where, my NFT is really about woman. So I'm also, basically working on the nonprofit focusing on the ocean. So our first route was Cyber Mermaid. So I continue to do that, and I'm going to continue to do that next year. Going to continue to create next year as well. So I think like I have been um, creating a lot to share, and I think I'm going to continue to build and create next year as well. I also mentor. I have a few accelerators that I started to mentor this year. I think Outlier Ventures in London, Techstars. So I'm gonna, and then also I'm still mentoring Berkeley Blockchain Accelerator and others. I think it brings a lot of, and then also Ref from Duke University as well. It brings me a lot of joy to meet with different projects and mentor them. So I most likely will continue to, to mentor and to advise different companies. I think what I wanted to do next year is, is just to have host office hours where
Mhm.
people can book a time so that it's just more, more efficient. And then I wanted to focus on more like metaverse creation, community building, and then also, more like art creation, right? Just for the joy of creating. Next year, I usually want to create NFTs. It's kind of cool when people buy it. But even if they don't buy it, I continue to make anyways. So a lot of the things that are exhibited are actually things done in 2021. I feel like, the compound effect is real, but I, tend to do things because I enjoy doing them, not because of anything else. So I think I'm going to continue that next year. How about you, Joe?
I'm looking to get serious with Startuprad.io and
Hmm.
Startup Raven to really completely support me and my family.
Hmm.
I'm also looking at hopefully attending a few international events with a pregnant wife and later a little baby boy. I have been quite hesitant to go to like in-person events, and when I
Hmm.
finally did it, I caught Corona. So I, it would be great if it gets better next year, and hopefully I can attend a few events. I also have a few milestones that I want to reach next year. And I already did a lot of planning in terms of, um, especially when I want to take time off, because there's always so much to do that I really try to have like a few days off each quarter.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds
that's
awesome.
something. Mhm.
You know what is so funny is that, and not in wood, is that I've been traveling since October of last year and have not gotten COVID. And then, like, you travel for the first time, you got COVID. It's just funny.
Uh, it wasn't like that hard since I've been vaccinated 3 times, but nonetheless, you spend more time in bed than you expect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, after New York, NFT New York, I think everyone had COVID, whom I spoke with and had a meeting with afterwards. And I think that strand was really, really bad. So please be careful out there. I'm surprised that COVID is not over yet. It's been 3 years, right, Joe?
Yes, I wish it would be over by now, and I really hope that everything will normalize. During 2023, like talking about the supply chains, the inflation going with it, and hopefully the central banks will stop raising interest rate, because otherwise 2023 may get a little bit uncomfortable, especially for the startups looking to raise venture capital or rely
That's true.
on new funding round.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, hopefully the economy gets a little bit better. In Web3 space, even though there's investors are investing less. However, the amount that are invested are more than the year priors. So it's still pretty big. And people are still investing in Web3 companies. So there is hope out there for all the startups. I know like every time there's a bear market, YC sends these letter out and it's super gloomy. But, like don't get discouraged just because of the market. I think if you have something great and you have traction and product market fit, I think there's still funding opportunities.
I do believe, first, it is not too bad if you see like only gloom and doom in the future and you prepare for that, because then there
Yeah.
can be only positive surprises. And secondly, I do believe if you can show that the unit economics work, that you can be profitable, there should be a pretty good way for you to raise funding. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I
Hmm.
think as long as there's you have traction and there's people attending, I think that's completely fine. That sounds wonderful. So for it's still Christmas time. What are so besides preparing for the future, and besides thinking about achievement, like in terms of your personal goals, what are some of your personal goals and what are some of the reasons behind it, right? Because I think this podcast is called Starting Why. are there any new things that you're starting? Are there new habits that you wanted to change that you wanted to start, next year and that you're preparing for it? What are some of your personal goals?
Oh, there is a lot. First, I'm not necessarily the person who just starts on January 1st a new habit and then keeps going until April and then it's over. Actually, I started when I see that I need it. So I
Yeah.
started regular working out on the gym for my back a few months ago, and I'm
Yeah.
still at it. Plus, I discovered the intermediate fasting for me to lose some weight. I had some problems with high blood sugar, pre-diabetes and stuff like that. And that's also I'm getting a handle on. Plus, I'm also looking to take one afternoon a month off just to
Hmm.
spend time with my oldest son.
Okay. Awesome. That sounds really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm just gonna start managing my time better and be more like super more like I'm very efficient already, but I'm talking about like 10x more efficient. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And I was just telling Joe that I've been like a very perfectionist, and it really sucks when you're editing audio because I like literally listen to everything, and I want to make sure everything is perfect before I publish it. And it's just kind of killing my time because it takes a few hours to edit one, and so when you're traveling, it's just hard to edit. So I think I'm trying to like still figure out a way to streamline that process. Sometimes I hire people to edit the audio, but because I'm a perfectionist, sometimes I end up editing their edited version, which is like terrible, because I just pay for it to be edited and then I like literally just touch it and edit it. Oh my god, and I'm just so detail oriented and it sucks. So I'm gonna learn, like how to not be such an anal obsessive perfectionist.
I see. I see. Actually, would I'm also looking to be more efficient, and I realized that giving my complete calendar to Calendly so everybody can book at any time meetings and stuff like that, that completely ruined my productivity. That's something I've stopped, and I have
Okay.
now dedicated pockets of time to do client work, to have meetings and stuff like this. As a result, I usually spend Monday evening, Monday night in meetings with clients and guests in North America. And I'm usually pretty busy on Wednesdays and Thursday afternoon. But besides that, I'm really getting work done. So very easy things you can do that have a massive impact on your productivity. Plus,
Yeah.
I also realized when I write like a daily to-do list, everything I want to achieve until the end of my workday, whenever that is, that really helped me to focus. Think what
Yeah.
is important, what has to be done, and then just go through it and
Yeah. Yeah. I have a
minimize
to-do list.
distractions.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I have a to-do list that I keep every day, and I have like 3 or 4 items on there, and that's it. And I know it sounds like little, but as long as I get those 3 or 4 things done, I'm good. And then and I would have, like marathon, right? So when I start editing audio, I'll just have, I'll audit like for an entire day. So I have like 5 or 6 episodes done like in one day, so, but I think I'm going to distribute that a little bit more so that, on my calendar, I'll have like edit audio on, like I get very productive on Saturday and Sunday. I know it sounds really weird. And then like maybe nighttime when no one is here, I'll start editing. But other than that, like I'm usually super productive. When I travel is a little bit different. I used to work at airports a lot. But like when you travel and when there's people around, I think it's just like a little bit harder to be on the computer. So I'm trying to be better. And then like I try not to be so hard on on myself. And if you're listening as well, like if you're not perfect, don't be so hard on yourself. I mean, I just feel like sometimes I would miss opportunities, and because like sometimes you just have to deal with life, challenges, that you have no control over. For example, right? If you have a hurricane and you wanted to get, you need to get something done, apparently you can't, and even the government postponed tax deadlines for you, because it's really hard to go through a hurricane. So, or even a death in the family, or, like even a birth of family, I think there's certain situations in life where it impacts you and your achievement, right? So I think, when those things happen, like it's, you're human. And so you have to have compassion to yourself and say, hey, and just kind of push back accordingly, right? And say, hey, because I did that. I actually, one of the things that happened was, I basically resigned from a few things when my mom passed away, because then I realized that they were not, like first the energy, of the other party weren't really that well, so I too, I wanted to focus and I wanted to do the things that I enjoy, right? Which is art, audio, like, podcasts, interviewing people, building communities, and, other things that I love to do. So I just basically spent more time on those things, and, at the same time when, like life happens to you, I still do them, but a little bit slower, and I think that's okay, and I had to basically let people know, I'm like, hey, a hurricane happened. I can't do this today or this week, because we had no water and power and so, and so I think that's kind of reasonable to also set boundaries, because if you say yes to everything, there's just no way you can do everything. And if you're still working with people that don't have the same energy as you do, that's probably not good as well, right? So, that's one of the big thing I've done
Mhm.
this year. So it's been a little bit freeing, but I do have a calendar and put in all my daily to do lists, and also a big picture list as well, like where I like every year I focus on something that scares me. And then also one project that is more of a renaissance project that, I wanted to do for fun. And, I've been doing that for a long time and it's been pretty cool. I don't know. Sometimes the universe answers like answer your quest. And it's been super awesome.
And you know what? One of the most interesting sayings that stuck with me has been that perfection is the lowest possible
Yeah.
standard,
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah.
because it's not that realistic, and also um, everybody talks about focus, but what I've learned is that focus is just to say no to most of the stuff. That's something you just have to accept, to say no, frequently no, and your life will get a little bit easier.
Yeah.
That's what I learned. Focus is not I agree to everything and focus mostly my energy on stuff X, Y, and then do all the other stuff. It's simply doing only stuff X and Y.
So,
That's
so
it.
Joe, since it's Christmas time and we're supposed to be giving, right? How do you say no
Yes.
nicely and with love?
That is pretty hard to do, I have to say. Actually, a great example would be that a lot of people are reaching out to be guests on Startuprad.io, but I focus on Germany,
Mhm.
Austria, and Switzerland, and entrepreneurs and investors from there. So if they're not from there, I have
Mhm.
to tell them, you're an amazing entrepreneur, you're an amazing venture investor, but unfortunately, I only focus on this geography. That's it.
And then Joe sends it
That's
to me to review them. Like, ask Michelle.
I think we did this in the past, right?
I know. It's kind of funny. So if you're listening to this and if you're not, one of the startups in VC in that geographic location, then, Joe's going to refer you to me. Pretty sure. But the funniest thing is that sometimes they don't follow through because I think they love you more than they love me. That's what it seems like. It's kind of funny.
Really? People love me. Oh,
Like,
awesome.
I gave them the Calendly link, and I'm like, oh, I want to interview you, and then but I'm known to ask a lot of hard questions. So if I do like interview you, like I just wanted to go to the bottom of the truth. So
I'm more of the guy who likes to focus on the positive things, because if I do understand one thing, that startup life is already pretty hard. And I don't want to bash the people when they're coming into my podcast. There are more than enough people out there who try to make a career out of bashing people, criticizing people. But there's also a saying that's stuck in my mind. There was never a statue built for a critic.
yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess I mean, sometimes it's tough love. Sometimes it's like support. I mean, I've been like tried to be a little bit more, use a lot of more encouraging terms lately or this year. Because I think a lot of people give up, and I wanted to kind of see more. Like one thing is, it's like when startups, sometimes when they don't like raise money, they just like give up their whole entire project, and it just seems like they just wanted to raise money. That's why they want to do it. I love more of the gritty startup founders who completely believe in the project and would Uber to make money, even though they're not raising money from the VC. I know it sounds incredibly crazy, but that they're basically putting their all into something.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, exactly. Basically, that's also one of the things that I do. I try to focus on just a few things in life in order to get the maximum out of this. And I'm not there to just raise venture capital. I'm there to build something. I have a vision for the future, what I want to achieve. And I do believe I can connect better with people who have like the same mindset.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Awesome. And then what are you doing next year? Like, so like one thing I do is like, I also journal besides doing the to-do list because, I want to focus on the mind, not just the action behind it. And I feel like journaling or even, setting up my intentions are really important before I do something. So, I also complement that with, with that background and what I want to see in the future, right? So January is approaching, New Year is approaching. I know a lot of people set New Year resolutions and then they forget about them. But what are some like what is one thing that you wanted to see accomplished next year, or one goal, that you wanted to actualize next year?
There are several goals. One of them, I want to turn my podcast into my main source of living. Secondly, I want to start Startuprad.io as a real startup. Right now, I'm only looking for signups, which is actually going pretty well, I have to say.
Yeah.
And want to spend more time with my sons.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
I have been working quite a lot, especially since I left my corporate job as a consultant, and I realized I did not spend enough time with my family and my children. And so I have to optimize my work to get more time for them. For example, I stopped completely working on the weekends for them because either I have time for them or I spend the time relaxing and sleeping. You need the energy, right?
You just inspire me. I wanted to spend more time with my family next year, so I think that's what I'm going to do in January. Thank you.
And basically here in Germany will be like almost shut down between December 24th and January 1st, because between Christmas and New Year's Eve, a lot of people will take time off, spend time with their family, and so on and so forth. I usually, when I drop off my mom home after the holidays, I've spent 1 or 2 days there and do really a sleep marathon. One year I achieved 16 hours nonstop sleeping. That was amazing.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
Yes, it
Nonstop
is.
sleeping. I wonder if I can do that.
Yeah.
We should time ourselves and see how long we could sleep.
Oh, one more question, because we are very, very close to the holidays, but some people may have a Prime membership of an online seller and can still get goods delivered. What's the best Christmas present you have seen this year, or that you're going to give out to somebody you love?
I was thinking about NFTs. So I think I'm gonna make some mint some NFTs, and then give them out. I think that's what I would give out for people.
Mhm.
Since I create art and I make them. I think people could learn about how to get a MetaMask wallet, and then how to claim the NFT. So I think that would be super awesome. So, and I recently took some photos in Lisbon, so I might actually mint those and serve and use those and to serve as Christmas presents.
That's pretty cool. For me, I could rediscover my childhood when you have two little sons and you browse the potential Christmas presents. You feel like a kid again.
Oh,
It's so amazing. It's awesome. I'm really bubbly when I buy Christmas presents for my family and kids.
yeah, that sounds awesome. I actually was thinking about getting myself a Wacom just so that I can draw on the pad. But it's
Mm.
kind of like Christmas gifts, like when you do those, like, top 10, 20 lists. I mean, those are kind of fun and it just kind of give you some sense of joy for some reason. I mean, not to be materialistic, you know what I mean? But to get you into that season, that feeling good, the inspiration and anything could happen in the future. It kind of brings you to that childhood light, like you said.
Mhm. That is actually taking me to another important point for me this year, because I don't know how it is for you, but for me, the holidays start more or less with Thanksgiving. We also celebrate here.
Yeah.
And then a lot of to-dos, a lot of stress, bam, it's Christmas. And I try to enjoy
Right.
more the time between Thanksgiving and New Year's Eve. That's one of my goals, and I've already set the wheels in motions to do that.
Awesome. I mean, you're so productive. I've always you always have everything planned out and everything is calendar out. That's awesome. Yeah, it's kind of funny because when I'm doing a little bit of the opposite, but I'm trying to balance that because I was going from a perfectionist to a redeemed perfectionist. Where because I don't know, when I was a child, I wrote that book, the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. I don't know if you ever read the book. So he organized his life, like a calendar. And I started doing that when I was a kid because I read that book when I was a kid.
Mhm.
So just kind of going up, like straight A's and went to college and I'm super productive, right? Like trying to get like a bunch of stuff done. But at some point, I try not to do that because, you don't really give room for the spontaneous. And then after a couple years of living in the unknown and just not living life where I really don't know what I'm going to do next year or the year after that, amazing things happens. So because after I left PayPal, I thought, oh, I'm just gonna chill around the beach, right? And that was it. I didn't know that one day I would work with so many startups. I didn't know that I would work on the Loving AI project or even Robots Without Borders, a lot of AI, even distributed computation projects. I mean, those are all random, so I think it's cool to be disciplined, but it's always cool to leave room for a little bit of, let yourself and allow yourself to live in the unknown, and you don't really know how things will connect in the future, but they do, so I'll be working on a casual AI project that it's like how do we teach or train AI to learn, causation, right? And that's something that I didn't really expect it, but because I was working on the Loving AI project and a few of the other digital AI projects, that was kind of random. Those experiences give me some background and new beliefs and perception about what AI and robots could do. So, like just kind of be, stay a little bit open-minded as well, I would say.
That, I do believe, are some pretty good closing words because we're recording for already more than 35 minutes. If you do have
It's
the...
kind of fun talking to you. I know.
Yeah,
I think if we don't
same
have
here.
a time limit, it'll be forever and ever and ever.
Yes, but actually, let's do something. Let's get together early next year and do another recording how we are proceeding with our plans and how much time we get to spend actually with our family during the holidays.
That sounds awesome.
Hmm.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone. I hope that you have an awesome time during the Christmas season and New Year holiday season, and that you get to spend time with, your family and enjoy a lot of the food that you get to eat.
Make sure to like us and leave us a review.
It's kind of funny, but yeah, it'll be awesome if you do. And thank you, everyone. Happy holidays.
Thank you, everyone. Happy holidays. Frohe Weihnachten, guten Rutsch. Bye bye. Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye bye.